Hi, my name is Allison. Welcome to your Lost Tools of Writing equipping video. We just want to take a minute to make sure that you have all the tools and information that you need to walk your student through the process of the LTW course here at Grace Schole. So let's talk about Lost Tools of Writing for a minute. You'll often hear us call it LTW, and that's all we mean is the Lost Tools of Writing. It's just a shortened form. LTW teaches the persuasive writing process. It uses a 3-week template to write each essay. During the first week of instruction, the students will learn invention. When we say invention in the Lost Tools of Writing, what we mean is a way to come up with something to say. They're going to invent something to write about. The second week of the writing process is called arrangement. In the arrangement process, they will take what they're going to write about and they will arrange it into an outline form in order to prepare for their final essay. Then finally, the third week, they will go through the process of elocution. Elocution simply refers to the process of writing the written expression in words of the content of the essay. In addition to being a persuasive writing program, LTW is also a critical thinking program. LTW teaches how to think morally about the actions of others by using fictional characters from novels. While doing this, they will learn how to think about an issue from both the affirmative and the negative side so that they can fully understand what it is they're talking about. They will also learn how to make judgments based on factual information from the books. They will learn how to choose a position on a particular issue and then how to defend that position well in a written essay. What LTW does not teach on a regular basis is sentence structure, punctuation, and spelling. They do need to continue to use correct punctuation and spelling and sentence structure, but that job is going to primarily rest on the parents through the editing process. So just be prepared to know that you will need to continue to encourage your students to use proper punctuation, proper sentence structure, and proper spelling throughout the writing process. Let's talk about class structure and expectations a little bit. Class structure. The students will completely finish reading a book before the writing process begins. Then they will begin the assignments for the completed book. Each week in class, the teacher will model the writing process that they are learning in class time. Then they will go home and they will do the assignments related to what was modeled in class that day. They will have an entire week to complete their assignments. Each essay will take 3 weeks to write. While the writing is being done, the student will read the next assigned novel. They get 3 to 4 weeks to read each novel. Once the essay for the previous book is completed and the new book is finished, then the writing process starts all over again, and they'll take 3 weeks to write a new essay on the novel they just completed while they also read the next novel. Students are expected to complete the writing assignments each week. Completing their writing assignments mean that they have written something down, and they will be expected to bring it to class to show or to even share parts of what they wrote that week. The important thing in this class is not to fall behind. It's a 3-week process for a reason. It's really too difficult to do in 1 week. So you need to make sure that your student is keeping up with the assignments from week to week. These are the materials that you're going to need for your students for the Lost Tools of Writing. As you can see, we have your syllabus, which tells you what needs to be done each week. We have the teacher's guide for the Lost Tools of Writing, the student workbook, level 1, a 3-subject notebook, and your LTW toolbox, which will be given to you once school starts. When you purchase the curriculum, you should have received the login info for access to teaching videos that are intended for the teachers and the parents. If you didn't receive that, let one of us know, and we can talk about what to do about it. The student book is another thing that you'll need. We recommend that you do not write on these worksheets because they will be used over and over and over again. So they're best to use as a guide with the work being done in the 3-subject notebook. You can tab the LTW books if that's helpful for you. You may want to mark like each essay, and then within each essay, mark your invention and your arrangement and then your elocution with the same colors so that you can find each one within the essay. The appendices in the back of the Lost Tools of Writing book has a lot of really great information for you as the parent. So let me walk you through that right quick. You can see this one is tabbed at the top. First, it's going to give you a section on how to edit, which is a great way for you and your student to go through getting a really great final paper. Each essay has a checklist of what is required to be written in that essay. As you can see, the checklists get longer and longer because the essays will also get longer and longer with more requirements each time. There is a section on how to assess one of these papers if you would like to follow that. There's a section that contains all of the outlines for each essay so that you can quickly flip to it and make sure that your student's outline is correct. There's a glossary that has all of the terms that you need to be familiar with to teach the class. So if there's something that you can't quite remember what it means, flip back to the glossary and get a little refresher. And then also you can find sample essays that show you what kind of essay each lesson is expecting. The student workbook is mostly worksheets, but it does have some little instructions here and there to help remember what the new skills are. Once again, please don't write on these. Use these as templates. You will do the writing on actual notebook paper. But also there's appendices in the back of the student book that you need to be aware of. You can find self-edit checklists. This is for your student to go through before they show it to you so that they can make sure they're including all of the necessary things in each essay. And there are sample essays so that they can get a good idea of what is being expected of them from each essay. While I'm in here, let me draw your attention to something. Take a look at sample essay A, if you will, in the student notebook on page 118. This is an extremely short essay. It just has a few sentences in each paragraph, and also those sentences repeat a lot. It's very repetitive. I want you to remember that LTW is a process that builds over time. The very first essay will look like this. It will be very small, and it will sound very repetitive, and it will not sound like high quality writing. That is by design because what they are starting with is a skeleton. And then with each essay, they'll begin to put the flesh onto that skeleton so that it gets better and better and better each time. So when your student comes to you with this tiny little essay that's extremely repetitive, don't discourage that. That's exactly what it should be. And that's a good reason to be using the sample essay so that you also know what is expected. And let me just show you when they get to the end. Here is essay 6, sample essay. Look how long this one is. So I just want you to know that it is building into a much bigger essay. That first little essay is not the final result of this class. And then finally, they will need a 3-subject notebook is what we prefer because oftentimes in binders, the kids, they forget to put their papers in it or their papers fall out and they lose them. They can't find them. A notebook is a better way to keep the pages from falling out. We recommend a 3-subject because it's a 3-process writing class. So if you'll notice, this notebook has 3 tabs on it. So we have a section for invention, a section for arrangement, and a section for elocution. So on invention week, behind their invention tab, they will do all the work that is required of their worksheets, and they will create their Annie charts. On arrangement week, the same thing. They will do their arrangement worksheet work here and create their outlines. And on elocution week, they would do all of their elocution assignments here and then write their rough draft. I also recommend having a little tab that's removable that they can stick on whatever it is that is due for class today. So whether it's their Annie chart or their outline, they can flip to it real quickly and then they can just pull it off and replace it each week to help them get to the assignment they're supposed to turn in. If you don't like that and you would like to do something a little bit different, you could use a 6-subject notebook. You could label each section with the essay number, essay 1, essay 2, essay 3, essay 4, and do all of the work for each essay in one section of the notebook. But that is our recommendation on how to do that. Binders are another option, but they really do tend to lose all of the things that they're supposed to have in class with them. The last thing I want to talk to you about is this LTW toolbox. This is a resource that we created. It's supposed to help the students keep up with what is due. Because the assignments in LTW are cumulative, they just build over time. So your student's going to receive one of these and it's going to be blank. Each week, whichever lesson they're doing, your teacher is going to tell the students what to write in each column and give them a page number so they can quickly go back into their workbook and find those worksheets. So this is how it works. On Invention Week for your essay, that's week 1, when they're coming up with something to say, whatever is written here, they should do every single worksheet written in this column. By the end of the year, this column will be full and they will be doing all of the worksheets. But they don't drop the skills that they learned in essay 1 when they get to essay 2. So when they get to essay 2, they're doing what they learned in essay 1 plus what they learned in essay 2. When they get to essay 3, they're doing what they learned in essay 1 and 2 plus what they learned in 3. When they get to 4, they're doing what they learned in 1, 2, and 3 plus what they learned in 4. So they will do that for each week. So they'll have 1 week of invention, 1 week of arrangement, and 1 week of elocution. And they do each of the tasks for each one that is written in this toolbox. This is a quick reference guide for them to be able to get back to their worksheets rather quickly.